Welcome to Dark Knight Films Reviews and another special recap video. Today, we're counting down the top 10 hypnotic villains in films. So let's get started. Starting at number 10, we have Desmond from the 1960 film The Hypnotic Eye. Desmond was played by French actor Jacques Bergerac, and he's a hypnotist who does a stage show. He calls up beautiful women up on the stage, and then he hypnotizes them with a flashing light device, which is known as this film's title, The Hypnotic Eye. Once he has them in a trance, he ends up secretly instructing them to come visit with him later, and then he programs them to disfigure themselves horribly. Later, it is revealed that it is his assistant Justine, played by Allison Hayes, that is the one who is really the mastermind for this. Hence the reason why Desmond is so low on this list, because he is not working alone. And this woman is basically the reason he's doing this, so he's a very weak villain because of it. Coming in at number 9, we have the Great Varelli from Devil Doll, released in 1964. The Great Varelli was played by Bryant Haliday. This character is a hypnotist and ventriloquist. He does a stage show where he will do a ventriloquist act and will do hypnotism. His dummy, Hugo, is a former assistant in life. Now his soul has been transferred into this dummy. He ends up finding Marianne, played by Yvonne Romain, and he ends up hypnotizing her and plans on using her as the new female doll to accentuate with Hugo. Coming in at number 8, we have Djon from The Mask of Djon, released in 1946. Djon is a fake hypnotist/magician played by Erich von Stroheim. His wife is played by Jeanne Bates. Her name is Victoria. She's like his assistant at his shows and pretends to go into a trance and is a part of his act, doing all of his different tricks. He is older when the film starts, so he is not wanting to do the stage shows anymore. He is wanting to really learn to be able to hypnotize and studies books on the mind. Later in the film, he figures out he can hypnotize people with the help of a flickering lighter, and because he believes, in his jealousy, that Victoria is having an affair with a club owner, he decides to try and hypnotize her. He does successfully hypnotize her and commands her to try and kill him, but the plan goes wrong and he has eventually stopped. Coming in at number 7, we have Stephen Torg from the 1943 film The Dark Tower. Stephen Torg is played by the character actor Herbert Lom. This character comes along at a circus looking for a job, ends up showing that he has hypnotic powers, and uses them to stop a lion. He ends up becoming infatuated with the trapeze couple's female, Mary, and he plans to romance her into loving him. When she rejects his attempts, he decides to use hypnosis on her to get her to not only love him, but during their trapeze act, to also sabotage Tom, her husband, so that he is out of the picture and he can have Mary all to himself.
It is true, isn't it? You would like to rest.
Yes.
Tonight, on the trapeze, you will be tired.
Yes.
When you are swinging with your head downwards, ready to catch Tom, you will be so tired. Say it.
I will be so tired.
You will not be able to hold him. Remember that.
Yes.
You must remember.
I must remember.
Coming in at number 6, we have Gideon Drew from The Thing That Couldn't Die, released in 1958. Gideon Drew is played by Robin Hughes. He is a warlock who was decapitated back in the 1700s, and a crew of diggers happen upon his buried decapitated head. They don't know what's inside the box. He has the power to hypnotize anyone who looks into his eyes, and ends up using this ability on a man named Mike. Then, he uses him to help him to gain control of the character of Linda, played by Andra Martin. He plans to use her to gain control of her friend Jessica, played by Carolyn Kearney, so that his head can be reunited with his body again. Coming in at number 5, we have Sengali. This character has been played by many actors in many different films. The character was created in the novel Trilby, written by Georges du Maurier. His character has been played most memorably by Jeanne Barrymore in the 1931 film Sengali, in which his leading lady was Marian Marsh, playing the role of Trilby. Sengali ends up becoming infatuated with Trilby, and he ends up hypnotizing her so that she will run away with him and be his romantic interest, as well as taking advantage of her excellent singing voice by using her talents in the opera. Coming in at number 4, we have Fu Manchu. Now, Fu Manchu was created by Sax Rohmer in his novels, which were the best representation of the character. But that didn't stop Hollywood from doing multiple films. He was played by Warner Allen in The Mysterious Fu Manchu in 1929, and then he returned in the role in The Return of Fu Manchu in 1930, and then he returned once again in The Daughter of the Dragon in 1931. And then Boris Karloff tried his hand at the character in The Mask of Fu Manchu in 1932, and then Harry Brandon played the role in The Drums of Fu Manchu, a 15-chapter serial released in 1940, and then they tried a TV series with Fu Manchu called The Adventures of Fu Manchu, starring Glenn Gordon in 1956. But the most well-known actor to have ever played this character is definitely Christopher Lee, in which he played the character from 1965 all the way to 1969 in the movies The Face of Fu Manchu, The Brides of Fu Manchu, The Vengeance of Fu Manchu, Blood of Fu Manchu, and The Castle of Fu Manchu. That's a lot of history.
You have no will, no mind of your own. You will do only what I command you to do, even to death.
Coming in at number 3, we have Gregory Rasputin. He was played by various actors throughout the years, most notably in the 1932 film Rasputin and the Empress, in which he was portrayed by Lionel Barrymore. But it wasn't until 1966, when Christopher Lee portrayed the character in Rasputin, the Mad Monk, the scene in which he hypnotizes Barbara Shelley's character of Sonia is iconic. Then they did a film after that in 1996 called Rasputin, Dark Servant of Destiny, in which they cast Alan Rickman. This should have been a great film, but unfortunately they tried to portray Gregory Rasputin as more a sympathetic figure in that film, which doesn't work. Coming in at number 2, we have another literary figure, Dracula. This character has been played by various actors throughout the years. This character is known for having the hypnotic abilities, of course, if the movies are done right, not like today's movies, but some of the better Dracula movies were Bela Lugosi's Dracula from 1931, of course, and then, of course, the Spanish version from the same year. And then you have Christopher Lee's Hammer Productions films, which are the most exceptional Dracula films ever, especially Taste the Blood of Dracula, Dracula Has Risen from the Grave, Horror of Dracula, and Dracula Prince of Darkness. Those films are some of the best Dracula films ever. Coming in at number 1, we have Mokata from The Devil Rides Out, released in 1968. Mokata is played by Carole Gray, and what makes him the better hypnotic villain against someone as powerful as Dracula, Dracula is very powerful and he can hypnotize and get people to kill for him and maybe turn other people into vampires. But Carole Gray's Mokata is able to place Nikki Arega's character of Tanith in such a hypnotic control that at one point when she is trying to escape from Rex, she is able to use hypnotic powers, like he can, to get away from Rex. Not only that, Mokata invades the Eaton household in such a charismatic, smooth way, coming in and talking to Sarah Lawson's character of Marie, sits there and just casually looks like he's just having a conversation with her. But little does she know that what he is saying is slowly but surely turning her mind to mush and making her totally obedient to his will. This scene is one of the best ever, as far as hypnotic villains go. Not only that, but after he has her fully under his control, he just looks up to where Tanith and Simon are and uses mental telepathy to make both Tanith and Simon attempt to kill Rex and Richard. That's powerful. But what do you guys think? What are your top 10 rankings for the best hypnotic villains in films? Let us know in the comments down below. And as always, Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and be sure to click that join button to become a Dark Knight fan. And if you'd like to see Matt's specific details on this list, be sure and click the link above to see the full original video. But thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.